Hi, I'm Kathy from Connecting Kids to Meals. I am doing training for the CACFP Child and Adult Care Food Program, CACFP, also known as the After School Program. I hope I am addressing all of your needs here. If you have questions, please ask Taylor and or Chelsea. All right, thank you. Mission statement, first page. The mission of Connecting Kids is we are trying to reach out to all kids in Lucas, Wood County who are between the ages of 1 and 18 to make sure that they are receiving meals. There is a huge shortage of places where kids who are at risk and who are at need can eat if they're not at home. And you know that when school starts, they may eat lunch. They don't eat until morning the next day when they get to school. So your programs at your Wood County sites are very, very instrumental in providing these kids with nutritious meals. No kid wants to go home after school and not have anything to eat. So I applaud Wood County Educational Services Center for serving our communities. The mission of Connecting Kids, second page, you will see our 3 programs. We have a summer meal program, which you just finished with us. We have an after school meal program, fondly called CACFP, Child and Adult Care Food Program. And we have a year-round shelter program, for which one is here in Wood County at the Children's Services Center. The other 3 are up in Toledo. Third page is the 21-22 contact information. We will amend that. It should say 22-23 if you'd like to cross that off. Your main person to contact for all data is Caitlin. Call her when you are done serving your meals, or email her your sheets, or you can also fax them. The numbers are up at the top. Our office number for questions, 419-720-1106. We have a fax number. You should be sending those numbers in daily or calling them. And by week's end, I do believe that they are tallied by some magical person here at Wood County Educational Services Center, and we get those names and those counts. But do call them, because we are doing prepping 24 hours ahead of time, and we need those numbers. So please try and do that and call Caitlin. Victoria is our program coordinator, and I know that Chelsea and Taylor and Hannah have been in contact with her about this program for after school. You've been with us and partnering with us for close to, I think, probably 8 years, something like that. Victoria is our program manager. Julia is our logistics person. She tells our drivers where to go when and tries to coordinate all those deliveries. Your delivery driver will be and has been Yvette. She knows Wood County well, and she has been driving to your sites for a number of times. Union Building, Mommy Powell, Rossford at one time, and during the summer, Rossford Elementary School, where you have your programs. The lead monitor and lead trainer is me. Would be no reason for you to call me unless it is something regarding training. This training serves as a session for future employees that would be with Wood County ESC from October 1st of 2022 to September of 2023. So we are in a new fiscal year starting October 1st. Next sheet on the right side of your pamphlet, or if you don't happen to have a pamphlet, you happen to have one of the scans that Taylor has done. It says role of the after school site supervisor. This would be your site leaders' roles. So who your site leaders are, this would be their roles. I'm not going to read it to you. The site supervisor, if you happen to be the site supervisor for the day, you might want to take a peek at this. If your site leader is off on vacation, gets married, wins the lottery, you need to know these facts. You are responsible for the paperwork, getting to the site leader if she's not there for the day, or he, and you are responsible for calling, and you are responsible for assigning someone to call us, or someone that can answer questions for that day. Communicate with our kitchen at all times. Don't ever hesitate to call us. We are not there 24/7. We do shut the phones off at 5 o'clock and it rolls to an answering service. Leave a message, we'll get back to you. Next page, civil rights of the child nutrition program. You cannot deny a child a meal based on behavior. I want to clearly tell you that you cannot discriminate and tell a child because he's acting up, he cannot have a meal. You'll have to handle the discipline yourself, but please offer him a meal. Put him in the corner away from the rest of the children, but you cannot refuse a child a meal. All meals have to be served within your approved meal times. If you are serving, for example, 3:30 to 4, you have to serve between 3:30 and 4. You cannot serve outside that time. I tell folks it's like the school cafeteria. Make sure that you serve between 3:30 and 4. If you've got a child who is off campus and is going to be late, if you want to save a meal for them, you just cannot count it because it's outside the meal time. If you have kids who are in the bathroom, kids outside, and they're not there between 3:30 and 4, your sites have not been a problem, but we'd have had some sites in the summer that kids are absent during that serving time. Don't let the kids run your program. Make sure they are there to eat on time. 3:30 to 4, okay? Or whatever time your site supervisor has set up with us. All meals must be served within their approved meal times and meals must be complete. One of each food item on the plate. This is not pick what you want. We are trying to educate kids on what constitutes a good solid meal. And it is 5 items. It is milk. It is a whole grain product. It's an entree, usually a meat cheese product. We don't use soy products. We don't do meat fillers. So what they're getting is pure meat. It's not a mash of unfamiliar products. With each meal, you'll also receive a vegetable. You will receive a fruit, and you may have condiments, ketchup, mayonnaise, salsa, things like that. But you will have 5 things on that plate for that child. They don't want to eat it. You can't force them to eat it, but you do need to offer it to them. If they don't want their green beans, for instance, and Teddy, who sits next to Johnny, loves green beans, you can let Teddy have Johnny's green beans. If you've got extra milk left over and your child wants an extra milk, as long as it's within your serving time and every child has been fed, if they want an extra milk at the end of the day or meal, let them have that. You do not count that as a meal. If they want seconds of our walking tacos, let them have one. Don't count it as a meal. The only meal you count is that very first one. Next page, mandatory posting for all to see. You have to display the And Justice for All poster. It has the Statue of Liberty. It's in green and it has to be an 11 by 17 size. You can't shrink them down and post them. They need to be the 11 by 17 size. They do seem to disappear at some of the schools and sites after Christmas vacation. The janitors kind of go in and take down what they don't want to see hanging on the walls. Ask for one. All your schools have them posted. You need one in the lunch area where you're eating. You also have to display the current, it says monthly menu. Does not need to be displayed monthly. You will receive a menu daily with your daily paperwork. Display that one. If you want to go online and see what is upcoming for the week ahead, go to connectingkidstomeals.org. Follow the links. You can get onto the menus and you can see for the entire month what's coming up. If you want to print that out, please do and hang it up for your kids to see. Kids always want to know, well, when's pizza? When's calzones? When are we having cheeseburgers? When's chicken sliders? So post that. Might save you a lot of headaches as long as they can set eye level where they can see it. And kids like to know what's coming up for tomorrow to eat. Next page, very important, role of the after school meal server. This is you. If you are at a site and it is your duty for the day to feed kids, this is your page. Be on site at least 30 minutes prior to meal service time. You guys are going to be there anyway. 15 minutes is really ample. Check that the meal order is correct and complete. Call the kitchen immediately if something is missing. When Yvette, your driver, comes to drop food off, please check with her before she leaves to make sure you have all items. She delivers to a number of sites, and sometimes those sites end up, not often, but occasionally, North Baltimore might get Crim's meals. It's happened. If Yvette takes the day off, sometimes you might have a little scatterbrained driver who they haven't driven this route, and you may receive someone else's meal. So make sure before the driver leaves that you've got the right things. They will be labeled and they will arrive probably about 45 minutes to an hour before you eat. Call the kitchen if something is missing. Fourth bullet, clean the serving area, wipe down the table with either soap and water or wipes, sanitize them, wash your hands, put on a hairnet or a ball cap. And after you've washed your hands, after you've cleaned things, then put on your gloves. When you're handling food items, you want fresh gloves, not gloves that you've used that have been used to wipe the tables down. You've got debris and soap products and residue on those gloves. Change your gloves out. We provide those every day. We provide masks, we provide gloves, we provide hair nets. If you've got long hair, pull it back. You don't want that hanging in the food or the food products. Nothing more unappealing than getting acrylic fingernails and hair in the kids' food. You will be plating some of this food. So hang on, we'll discuss that. Make sure each food item is on the plate and properly portioned. Be kind to all, start and finish on time for your state approved meal time. Mark off the number of kids on the count sheet at each meal. As that meal is handed to the child, someone should be taking a tally. Complete and sign the meal count sheet, clean up serving and eating areas once the mealtime is over, empty and wipe down the food pans. You're going to receive several receptacles, one for primarily a Cambro or a hot food insulated container. When you take the lid off, step back. It could be very steamy and very hot, but those are the containers for the hot food. Cold foods will be in your cooler. It'll be iced down. It probably is going to be with milk. You may have carrots. You might have mozzarella cheese sticks. You can have a number of cold food products in there, including your milk. Return the completed meal count sheet by the end of the next business day. Next sheet, up at the top, it says meal serving, and there are 4 primary bullet areas. The first topic is preparing to serve. We just discussed this. Put on a hairnet, wipe down the serving table, wash your hands. Number 2, plating the food. Set out plates, sporks, and room temperature foods. You can set up, if you've got 20 kids, set up 20 plates if you've got the space. Put all of your shelf-stable stuff out for the meal for the day. Keep the lid closed on the hot food. Keep the lid closed on the cooler. Do not take milk out ahead of time and set it up because the temperature drops quite rapidly. You want all of your food temperatures for cold items to be below 40. You want your hot items to be above 140. So remember that. It's also on here. That's numbers B and C, letters B and C under number 2. Number 3, all menu items must be served to the children unless there is a documented food restriction or an allergy. And your site leaders should be sending those allergies to us. Very important. We do not serve pork products. When your meat entree comes, you will see we call it the meat sheet. It's a USDA informative sheet that is required by us to inform you what is in your meat products. Parents are curious. They want to know, my kid eating pork? Are they eating turkey? What's on the menu? And there are some parents who can be very complaintive about that if you cannot produce information about what they're eating. A lot of them are religious issues, but that meat sheet that you will get every day explains what is in the product that the kids are eating, the meat product or the protein product. We do not provide soy unless the child has an intolerance to milk or is allergic to milk. We need a sheet from a healthcare person, either a doctor or a nurse practitioner, physician's assistant. Can't be mom and dad saying my child cannot drink anything except chocolate milk. No, Chocolate is an intolerance. There are some kids who are allergic to chocolate, but if they are allergic to chocolate, we need a sheet that says they're allergic, and we will send white milk for that child. Or if they have a soy, or if they have a gluten product problem, we will send soy milk so that they can have that. It's not the best, I'm telling you. It's soy. We don't provide the marketplace almond milk. It's a soy-based product. So if you have an allergy, be mindful. Send us that information. We have sheets. All you need to do is request them and let us know. Next bullet, serving the food, children only ages 1 to 18. You probably are not going to have any walk-ins unless there's a brother or sister. You don't feed parents. You don't feed grandparents. You don't feed adults. If they have an older brother or sister that's coming to pick them up and they want a meal and it's within your window of serving, 3:30 to 4, 4 to 4:30, whatever that is, feed them, not a problem. Have the kids wash their hand or use hand sanitizer. We provide that. Don't refuse a meal to any child. If they are acting up, address the behavior and let them eat alone. All menu items are to be on the plate. All food items must be eaten on site. Cross off each number on the meal count sheet as the child takes a plate from the serving area. We count first meals only. Like I said, if they want seconds, they can have them if you have leftovers. The server must stay through the end of the serving time with food available, whether there are children or not present. This is mostly for our outdoor areas, our parks, our rec centers that there's a possibility of running out of food because the attendance number is not stable. You have a captive audience, so your numbers are not going to vary much unless you've got a snow day or you've got flu running through the building or COVID now. Those numbers will not change dramatically. The server must stay through the end of the meal. If you're serving from 3:30 to 4, they have to be there 3:30 to 4. Ending the serving time. Once the serving time is over, dispose of any leftover food items that are not shelf stable. You can keep milk if you have a refrigerator and you have to keep a temperature log. Milk needs to be refrigerated below 40 degrees. I know at Crim's, sometimes the refrigerator can get real packed back in that little office area. So make sure you clean things out. Milk goes on the bottom, not on the top because of the potential to drip. But keep your refrigerators clean. Make sure there's a thermometer in there and record that temperature every day before you start serving food. Ending the serving time, again, the third bullet, wipe down everything, dispose of any leftover food that is not self-contained, meaning your stable products, your fruit cups, save them. Your peanut butter Uncrustables, if you happen to get those, save them. Your milk, save that from day to day. As long as it's not expired, you can use that for a child who wants an extra milk at the end of the day or at the end of the week. Wash the serving utensils and keep them on site. These would be your forks, larger forks, tongs, serving items, slotted spoons. Wash them up. It's not required you sanitize them with bleach, but do wash them and keep them in a place where you can find them. These are your responsibilities to keep the area secure and return those at the end of your program for after school. Call the kitchen if your numbers are going to increase. Caitlin, again, look on your who's who sheet. She's your contact person for all things in numbers and all things data, all things with food products, issues with delivery, and you're not going to have that with Yvette. But any questions, call and ask Caitlin, and she can reroute you then to the person who needs to address it. Returning paperwork, email or fax the meal count sheets no later than the next business day. Email, Caitlin's number is there and our fax number is there. You can reach Caitlin. Some of you have her cell number. She does not have a problem with you calling her on her cell or texting her. The office number, 419-720-1106, again at the top of the page. Next item of business is your dinner menu, lunch and dinner menu. It looks like this. It may also be in orange. These are our summer meal pages. We're going to use them until they run out for our after-school program. You will see up at the top, it says Homer Hannum Boys and Girls Club. If you're getting Homer Hannum's Boys and Girls Club paperwork, you probably got their food products as well, your meal products. Make sure you have your things, and that's why you're going to meet Yvette when she comes to drop off, to make sure you've got the right stuff. Seldom has she ever delivered to any other site that it wasn't meant for, but it does happen, and you could get some possible paperwork that doesn't belong to you. Supervisor, that would be you or whoever is serving for the day. Number of meals received, 50. You see up there, look down at the very bottom, it says number of meals sent, 50. I don't expect you to count every meal, but you can be assured that if you've got a full container, a full cooler of milk, you probably got about 50 milks. If you have a half of a cooler, you probably got 25. But make sure those numbers are fairly close. When you're done serving, you'll be able to tell how many you have left. We usually throw in a couple extras because 2 servers are allowed to eat a meal. We are not reimbursed for them, but as a courtesy, since this is all volunteer with serving, you're entitled to a meal. Up at the top right, make sure the date is correct. Make sure your phone number is correct for your site. Number of additional meals received should be NA. We don't provide additional meals because you are so far away from where we are located. We can't possibly deliver extra meals within your serving time. Site signature, it's circled in red because that's you. We need your signature. On your training sheet, you're gonna also put that you were trained, and that signature should match the site signature of your meal service for the day. Next area where you see all the numbers, don't do a loop-de-loop, don't do cross-offs. The ODE wants to have each child, as you plate that food and pass it off to the child, a slash mark made. So do hash marks, slash marks out to the right of that page. You see then the number that is circled for the kids who had eaten for the day. If you have leftovers and you know of a child who is going home to a family and you want to send it out the door to them rather than dump the hot food and dump the milk, you can send some of those products home. I would wait until Friday if you've got leftover meals. And again, you're not supposed to save the hot stuff. You can save the milk. If you know a family in need and you want to send it out the door to them, rather than dump it in the trash, send it out the door. Do not count it as a full meal because that child's not on site. Okay, that's the only exception. And Wood County has been very good with complying with not doing any excessive adventures, so to speak, for leftovers. We want to do our due diligence to make sure that we feed our kids, but we also don't want to be wasting perfectly good food. If you want to take a meal, 2 servers are allowed to take a full meal. You can see here. Add 2 to that. We do not get reimbursed for adult meals. Your menu is in the middle of the page. You will also get a daily menu that comes. If you see on your daily menu and that this that is written here on your delivery sheet, your number sheet, they don't match, it's okay. Check your daily menu. If it's in red, it's probably a substitution. You may not have boneless chicken wings. That's what's written on here. You might have chicken sliders or cheeseburger sliders, because if it's in red on your daily menu, it's a delivery issue. We are having some problems with the delivery of some of our items. We hope to get these about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. And sometimes there's a delivery problem, and it was terrible in the pandemic. And with the possibility of trucking and railroad issues, sometimes we don't get the products that we have planned a month ahead to serve. So if it's in red, it's a substitution. Off to the right where the menu is, the food items, you'll see what you're supposed to serve. The black is us. We have filled that in prior to arrival to your site, and you can see that we check the temp at 11 a.m. The site temperature is in red. Make sure you fill that in. Everything that is circled in red on this sheet, you should be filling in. You keep the yellow copy, the white comes back to us. I do believe that somebody in the office for Wood County sends those back to us. You also have to do an attendance sheet provided for you. The next page says snack. That's just an example if you happen to do a snack. And I don't think you guys are doing those. Next page, it says CKTM server attendance sheet. You will get one of these every day with your paperwork that comes with your food products. You have to take that child's name down. All we request is first name, last initial. You do not need to sign or put that child's last name in. Please help them. If they are not able to write their name legibly, please help them. We've received some with, you won't have this problem, but 3 and 4 and 5-year-old kids who are showing up alone at sites to eat, they don't know how to write their name. Help them so that we can legibly read it. The site name will be up. You need to fill that in up at the top. The server name for the day, you need to print your name there. And of course, the date. That will come daily. Next section, it says for additional information, contact the Lucas County Health Department. You can contact Wood County. They won't mind since you're in Wood County. But for additional information, you want some health advice, access either one of those websites. Health and safety section, refrigeration, calibrating the thermometer, accident cleanup, health department web address. That is all in the next 4 pages, 4 or 5 pages. There is a daily temp log that I've included. I know that Taylor has spares as well. Copy as many of those as you want. Next thing is washing hands, refrigeration safety, milk always on the bottom because of the drip. There's a explanation in here how to calibrate your thermometers, wash your hands often, and the last page is how to clean up accidents with possibly vomit or fecal accidents. It happens. It happens. If you have a sick child, and kids do come to school sick, kids also come to eat when they're sick because parents aren't always available to pick them up. Parents work. There's other circumstances that you may have a sick child at your site. I'm sure you all have protocols to follow, but be mindful in the season of COVID and the flu coming up. Keep yourself masked if you have to. We may be going back to mask mandates of connecting kids to meals. I know there are some schools that are considering it. The pandemic's not over. The flu season never ends. Stay well and take care. Thank you.